Are you suffering from chronic Zack Snyder obsession disorder? Do you find yourself unable to move past the dark, brooding world of Snyder's DC films, even as new DC releases roll out? Do you experience intense flashbacks to epic battle scenes and iconic visual effects, while simultaneously bashing every new DC film for not living up to your ideal vision? Well, there may be a cure for you. Introducing James Gunn, the breakthrough cinematic remedy designed to help you break free from the relentless grip of ZSOD. If you've been stuck in a Snyder-centric mindset, you might be experiencing symptoms like selective nostalgia, film snobbery, and an inability to appreciate new creative visions. James Gunn offers a refreshing alternative, inviting you to embrace a broader cinematic universe. Unlike the heavy, monochrome narratives of the past, James Gunn delivers a vibrant, inclusive, and thoroughly entertaining dose of creativity. It's the perfect fix to recalibrate your taste and rediscover joy in fresh storytelling. Simply expose yourself to the signature style of James Gunn's cinematic universe. In controlled doses, of course. Whether through his acclaimed reboot projects or his genre-defying storytelling, you can realign your film palette, regain balance, and even learn to enjoy the new era of DC films without disdain. Possible side effects include unexpected bursts of laughter, renewed hope in cinema, a broader appreciation for diverse storytelling, and occasional debates with fellow fans about the evolution of the DC universe. If you experience persistent flashbacks to alternate realities or a sudden affinity for colorful characters, consult your local movie club immediately. Don't let your fixation on a bygone era hold you back. It's time to upgrade your cinematic prescription. Ask your film enthusiast today about James Gunn, the ultimate fix for ZSOD, Zack Snyder obsession disorder. James Gunn, the remedy that brings...
Come on and gather round, there's a place you gotta be, where movies, shows, and games light up your fantasy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast, where we sit down and talk all things pulp culture, from Marvel to DC to, well, Star Wars and everything in between. I'm your host, Slav, and this week we're going to talk about, well, the Super Bowl spots, at least a few of the movie spots. What was your favorite? What was my favorite? We'll get into that. There's some news about Daredevil, about it being brutal. We've talked about that, but now we've got some confirmation. Lanterns is going into production. There is a bit of disappointment, maybe, with the Puppy Bowl. Really? And I guess there's some changes going on over at Star Wars and Lucasfilm yet again, so we're going to get into that. I know there are some of you in the chat. Oh, man, it's Star Wars talk. But I always talk Star Wars, you know that. So sit back, everyone, and let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Yes, I did show my little ad again. I wanted to show it, and believe it or not, guys, I do have another ad for you later today. It is a new one. I told you I had a few ideas lined up. If you are a member of the channel, I did put it out there a couple days ago, so you may have had a chance to check it out. If not, you'll get to see it today. It's about the same length, a little shorter, and then it will be up after the show tonight. But I do have another ad for everybody later today. Anyways, I hope you all had a good week. This Super Bowl was yesterday, or the big game. I'm sorry, you can't say Super Bowl or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that happened, and Taylor Swift got her ass kicked, which was kind of funny. And the Eagles won. That was interesting. But that wasn't the most exciting news from this weekend, was it? No, there was some pretty big news with John Campea, and I did a video all about it. So if you haven't checked that out, it's kind of been the talk of the town for the past week, or the weekend, I should say, regarding the Snyderverse fans and moving on. John Campea says, you have to move on. You have to get out of here. And yeah, that's kind of what we all agree on. So that's something that has to go there. Let's see who's all here. We got Jalen here. Whoops. Well, I'm trying to click things and Chat's moving. Jalen Harris is here. How's it going? What's going on, Jalen? Otito says, Slav, don't forget you hate why. Wait. Don't forget why you hate Civil War. You promised. Also, I hope a lot of kids saw Crypto Sneak. That was the plan. More kids, parents, or guardians are sure to watch, meaning more money. Yes. Boston Brand says it's 5 months away. How's it going, Boston? Yes, it is. Randy O'Donnell. Yes, the good buzz has been garnered by the trailer, has been squandered by the bad flight clip, the absurd Guy Gardner clip, and the disappointment over what was promised but not delivered. We will get into that, Randy. I hope you stick around for when we get into all of that, because I want to talk about the marketing for Superman, the disappointment from the Puppy Bowl. Was it really a disappointment? We're going to get into all of that, so don't worry. Otito, when it comes to Civil War, I will talk a bit about it. If we have time, I'll get real in depth with it, but I will talk a little bit about it because I did promise. Trust me, I got all my notes written down here. I want to go in depth to it, but I hope we have time. But trust me, I know you want to hear my thoughts on all of that. Don't worry. We got Trevon on here, back at it. Hope for Life. Oh boy, here we go again. So we got a bunch of regulars and everybody's here. I'm sure I missed some people, but how's it going? Let's get into it with everything. A couple of things I want to clean up here. I want to give a shout out to another podcast, and I think everybody might enjoy. It's not DC, it's not film related, but these are a couple guys that do a podcast called Ineffably Sublime. It's a really cool podcast. I do want you guys I think you guys might enjoy it. It's just a couple guys that sit around and talk about their week. They get into like nonsensical stuff. They talk about random things. It's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious. The one host, Deej Penhalo, he and I have been podcast buddies for almost 10 years now. It's kind of crazy. He actually helped me early on in my podcast career. And he's had a number of podcasts, but this one I think is not saying that his other ones weren't great, because he's done nerdy ones. He used to have a podcast called Nerd Talkalypse, which was really cool. But I think this is one of his best ones. And it's a great podcast. You can find it on YouTube, but you can also find it on other podcasting apps. I do encourage you guys to go check it out. It is loads of fun. It's just a blast. If you guys need something to listen to on your drive, go check that out. And then again, the Discord. We have a Discord here, guys. It's in the description, and I want you all to go check out the Discord. I want to build this community up on the Discord because I want to have fun here. It's all about building community, a one-stop shop where we can all just hang out and have a conversation. Sure, we have X. Sure, we have the community tab or community section on YouTube. But this is like one area where all of us together can just find one spot to get there and like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Let's talk about this stuff. Hey, did you see that trailer? Did you see this? Did you see this piece of art? Did you hear about this possible rumor or leak? That's what I want this Discord to be. So I'm hoping you guys can all join in. I know it's going to be a slow build for us, but invite your friends, invite your family, invite anybody you think might enjoy it. Tell them to come over there. I think it could be a good time. Even if people don't watch my show or watch this channel, I think it could be a fun time. So, don't miss out on that. Okay. All right. Let's get in to the first topic. And it's Star Wars related. I know. I won't be too long with this, all of you out there. So Star Wars had a bit of a shift secretly. There was a bit of a shift. That's right. Apparently, Derek Hoffman has come in and taken over at Lucasfilm as their new vice president of development. This coming from Fanthatracks.com. Says, having worked in the film, video game, and comic book industries for the last 24 years, Derek Hoffman is very well acquainted with what makes stories and franchises tick. So it's good news indeed that he has joined Lucasfilm as their new vice president for development, charged with developing stories for adaptation and live action. Whether that means any involvement with Star Wars, Indiana Jones, or Willow remains to be seen, but it does indicate Lucasfilm's determination to forge ahead and strengthen as it approaches 50 years of its flagship saga. Now, he started in the Donner's company as a runner. He moved into an assistant role for Richard Donner. He was then doing some things in feature films, like with 16 Blocks. He did stuff with X-Men Days of Future Past. He worked on the FX series Legion, which was a really wild series, which I really enjoyed. He also worked on the X-Men series called The Gifted that was on Fox. So he's played in a lot of different areas throughout the years. But what does this mean for Lucasfilm? What could this mean for Star Wars? Now, let's not forget that Dave Filoni is kind of the chief content officer when it comes to Star Wars, or whatever he's called. I don't remember what his title is. He's kind of the one that's the driving force for the content, getting the creative juices flowing for Star Wars. But this is a move that could change all of that. Because if I'm thinking this correctly, and I could be wrong, this would be above that role. And if things are not going the way that they're supposed to be going with Star Wars, he's the man that's going to sit there and say, we need to make changes. This needs to change. You need to go. You need to find somebody else. Dave Filoni, you're gone. This needs to happen. Yes, Kathy Kennedy is above him and should be doing that as well. But he's kind of the man he needs to have more hands-on. He will have more hands-on in making sure that these things get put in motion, that things are happening and really moving forward. However, it's not just with Star Wars, because it is with Lucasfilm. So Lucasfilm is more than just Star Wars. It is Indiana Jones. It's Willow. It's what else? There's a couple other things. There's something else that's coming up soon. But it could also be with video games. It could be with animation, everything like that. So it's not just Star Wars, but let's face it, Star Wars is the big aspect of it. So I think this could be a good thing, but I also think that it's an unknown. It's really an unknown, because this was done very, very quietly. This was something that wasn't announced. This wasn't a big announcement. Somebody came across this just looking on the Star Wars or the Lucasfilm website and just saw that there was a change made there. And there was no like big announcement. So it's really bizarre how this all played out. And I'm thinking that could this be just something that they didn't really want to make known, and it's just going to be status quo and things are going to move the way they were? Or is this kind of like a step one in some additional steps that they're going to be taking, and they just didn't want to make a big noise about it because of the state that Star Wars is in and the state that Lucasfilm is in after the failures of Indiana Jones and a lot of the failures that have fallen under Star Wars. So it's interesting. Like I said, I think it could be a good thing, but I also think it could be possibly a bad thing. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Is this going to be one of those things that we have to wait and see? That's all I'm really saying with this. But let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you think, because it's interesting. It is interesting, but I'm just kind of, I don't know. I think I just so badly want Star Wars to get on track and be really good again that I'm just hoping for any news to be good news. I think that's where I'm at with it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments for sure. I want to know what you think. All right. Next story. We're going to move on to the Super Bowl stuff. Now, for me, this was the spot of the night. This was the Lilo and Stitch spot that they did, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, where it was a little commercial where they had Stitch, a CGI Stitch, running around the field, running around a football field, and the security trying to catch him. And it was just absolutely adorable and awesome. Again, it's just showing Stitch causing mayhem, very reminiscent of all of the ridiculous ads that they did with Stitch back in the early 2000s on the build up to the Lilo and Stitch film back then, the original Lilo and Stitch, where he was going into the films of the Disney era back then, or even prior to that, going into the movies and kind of messing those up. This is reminiscent of that. Again, this is just getting people excited about Lilo and Stitch and showcasing Stitch just causing mayhem. And I loved it. I think this was the best spot for a movie the entire time. I think it was great. So for me, I would go here. I would say this is the spot of the night. That isn't to say there weren't other great spots. I think Mission Impossible had a 30-second spot. It was good. It just was more of the same from what we've seen already. I was a little shocked that they didn't really push another big trailer, but I think that's coming at CinemaCon, which is only going to be a month and a half prior to the movie coming out. But I think that's their big push is going to be CinemaCon. And look, I know, and you know that this Mission Impossible is going to be awesome, but I am a little shocked that they didn't have a bigger push here. F1 had a big push. I thought F1 looked pretty good. I'm intrigued. I think this is going to be what Apple's like last big movie for a while, if not forever. I think because I think they've realized that they can't spend that much money and not really get anything back by putting all these things on Apple Plus TV or Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called. So I think that's going to be like their last big movie, but it does look good. But again, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. For me, I would say the second best was Thunderbolts. And sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to play the trailer. I don't want to risk getting any kind of copyright or anything like that. But the trailer was good. I enjoyed that they showcased more. I like the posters that they put up. I like the poster that's reminiscent of the Wheaties box because of the trailer. I also like that they showcased the villain. The villain being the Void, which is the alternate personality of Sentry. And I also like the powers, the look of the powers of the Void. That looked pretty cool. But I'm not one of those people that are going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm a colorist and I know how movie colors look and blah 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 blah." But did anybody else get a feeling like this trailer looked gray? Like everything was gray in the trailer. It was so gray. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a big fan of spy films. I love spy films, the Bourne Identity, the James Bond movies, that kind of stuff. And I get that, especially in the 2000s, spy films were kind of grayish. They didn't have a lot of pop, a lot of color. So I kind of felt like maybe they're going for that kind of feel here with this movie, but it kind of just felt off with it a little bit. So for me, I was sitting there like, maybe they were doing something else. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like it felt a little gray. But that's just me. That's just me. So I really don't know. I want to know what you guys think, though. Let me know in the comments. What was your favorite part of the Super Bowl when it came to TV spots? Did you like the Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, F1, Thunderbolts? Like, was there something else that stuck out to you? Like for me, those were like the ones that really stuck out for me. Again, Lilo and Stitch I think was the best. Thunderbolts I think was the second best. But let me know. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to hit over here and see what you guys have to say over here. All right. Let's see. The Watcher says, the only thing Thunderbolts has going for it is Sentry. That's it. Well, I wouldn't say that's the only thing they have going for it. First off, Florence Pugh is a really good actress, and I think that she's really owned the role that she's in. I think she's done a really good job with it. David Harbour is a fun actor. He's definitely more comic relief than anything else. Sebastian Stan, as Winter Soldier, everybody loves him. We know Taskmaster isn't going to last long. Ghost, who knows how long she lasts. I mean, the actors and the characters can be built on and done well. I think Sentry's interesting. My concern with Sentry in this film is that he's going to be a one-off. And how you're going to take a character like Sentry, who is essentially a more OP Superman, and make him a one-off in the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of scares me a little bit. Otito says, ragtag of nobodies without James Gunn, without R rating, and you get a bootleg watered-down Suicide Squad. Well, I mean, yeah. That's what we've been all saying for a while. Pretty much what we're getting. Jalen, the color grading in Thunderbolts was very obvious to say it lacks color more so than Superman. But I'm still excited for Thunderbolts, Jalen says. Andre, I wouldn't be surprised if Thunderbolts ends up being the best Marvel movie this year. I would say because the trailer impressed me. It did. I wouldn't be surprised also. I've been saying for a while that it does look better than Captain America. It does. Now we're hearing that Captain America isn't as bad as a lot of people are thinking it's going to be. Now, I think tonight at midnight, is it tonight at midnight? The reviews come out. So later this week, you're going to start seeing the reviews come out for Captain America, and we'll really start to hear how it is. But I think this might actually be better than Captain America. And if it is, good. Does that mean it's going to be better than Fantastic Four? Well, that's kind of to be seen. That is. Yeah, that's the thing. Hope for Life. Hope for Life says more interested in Thunderbolts and Brave New World. A lot of people are. Man, it's time. Hey, Slav, hope you're okay. Read the title of your video, and the answer is a big no. And the title is, should we worry about the marketing for Superman? The Watcher, rumors are that Sentry will be sticking around. I hope so. I mean, I do hope so. But it'll be interesting to see how he then fits in. Because I have to give Kevin Feige the benefit of the doubt, because over the last, what 15, 16 years now, 17 years, what's it been? 16, 17 years of him doing this. More of those years he has been successful than not. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I still don't know. I don't know. Tito says, more OP Superman, what kind of violation? Come on, man. Look, Sentry has the powers to bring people back to life. He has the ability to, like, just decimate people. Like, look, I get it. I know what you're saying, but they really went overboard with Sentry's powers in the comics. Whether they utilize those powers in the movies, I don't know. But they went overboard in the comics with Sentry in some cases. So it's just how they do things sometimes. All right. One more on this. Andre, do you think the asterisk is because the title of the movie will be different at the beginning of the movie, Dark Avengers? I don't know. I'm thinking that might be something they do. I was thinking that when I was watching the trailer, I was thinking that the asterisk, because David Harbour's character says something about, oh, we're the Thunderbolts. And I think it's Florence Pugh, or maybe it's, I don't know. Somebody says, oh, we can't use that name. And I'm like, I wonder if that's what the asterisk is about, because they can't use Thunderbolts. So they're going to use another name. Or is that a bait and switch? Do they say we want to use the Avengers or Dark Avengers, and they say we can't use that name, and he says Thunderbolts then? Something like that. I was trying to figure that out. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's interesting though. And Watcher, one more. I'll say the Watcher, rephrase that. I guess I should say the only thing that interests me in Thunderbolts is Sentry and Bucky. I have qualms with Red Guardian because he isn't silly in the comics. I get it. The one thing, and maybe I know you probably don't all agree with me. I have this thing when it comes to new interpretations with characters. I'm all for them changing them from the interpretations slightly. Like, I don't mind if a writer, if a director, if whatever wants to put their own spin on it, because we always have that other iteration in the comics or in another form of media. That doesn't mean, that happens in comics all the time. We always have like, you take a look at the Miller Batman. He is much darker and brooding and he's just bolder, whatever you want to say about Batman and Miller's Batman and the Dark Knight Returns and everything, compared to other Batman in comics. But then you take a look at, the Adam West Batman, and people still like him, but he was goofier. You take a look at Burton's Batman. You take a look at, you have all these different iterations of Batman, and that's okay. You can have different iterations. And I say that even with something like Red Guardian. He can be different in the comics and where he is in live action. And at some point in time, maybe they'll recast him down the line and it's a different iteration. I just don't always want to see them go so hardcore comedy with everything. And this one, it kind of works because I like David Harbour. And I think that also plays into it. Like, you have to stick, like, one where it failed. And I'm going to say this, Thor. It failed with Thor because you started out one way with Thor, and then you very like slowly turn him into like this comedic role and then went really hardcore comedy with him. And it was like, no, 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 no. That's not who he is. That wasn't how he is. But if you start out with it, like with Red Guardian, it works. And you stick with it, that's fine. So that's kind of how I look at it. But I know you may not all agree with me. I get it. I get it. That's all right. All right. Moving on. Onward and upward. Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. Violence goes way past anything Netflix ever did. Now, I talked about this a few weeks back that this show was going to be brutal. I was told that this show was going to be brutal. And now we're hearing that's the case. That is the case. This coming from Empire Online. There were many things that stood out about Netflix's Daredevil series back when it launched in 2015. First up, it really took Marvel's blind vigilante seriously, diving deep into his psyche, his city, and his Hell's Kitchen history. Plus, it delivered top-tier fight scenes, changing the game with its no-cuts hallway brawl. And there were cuts there, but you know, they did some smart camera work. And then there was some unflinching violence, bloody and uncompromising, a world away from the big screen Marvel movies. You'd be forgiven then, but for thinking that the show's new life on Disney Plus as Daredevil Born Again, bringing Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk Kingpin would find it slightly softened from that original form. Apparently not. The showrunner, Dario Scardapane, who was previously behind the Punisher series, tells Empire it's going even harder than ever before. The level of violence is way up there for a Marvel Disney show. I don't think there's anything else even in the ballpark. There's a moment in this that is just absolutely batshit and way past anything Netflix ever did. That's almost hard to imagine, given that the previous Daredevil show had Fisk slamming heads in car doors with minions who'd sooner impale their heads on spikes than name their omniscient, I can't talk, boss. But Kingpin himself agrees that Born Again is both deeper and darker. There's a world in which you might think that if that show kept running, we'd be in this place eventually, or something like it. But we've gone further in the darkness, the action, the nastiness. This is exciting, but you know, I'm a little hesitant still, even hearing this, because you know they're going to talk it up before it comes out. They're going to get people excited, like, "Hey, it's going to be really, really action packed. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be great." And then you know it comes out, and then it's not. I'm going to be hesitant. I think we should all be hesitant, but like I said before this, a few weeks back, I was told that this show is brutal. So I'm hoping. Look, Marvel really needs a win. And if Captain America falters, this could be their win in March. This could be a very, very important win for them in March. We're just like 4 weeks away, 5 weeks, not even 5 weeks away. They need a win for sure. For sure. All right, what do you got over here, guys? Trayvon says, something tells me that it will be watered down. It's possible. Like I said, I mean, sometimes you got to be a little hesitant. Sometimes you could just be talking it up to get people excited. I don't know. Man, it was time says, the thing I'm scared with Daredevil is if they replace more violence with a lack of captivating story, because the stories would excel the Netflix series more than the violence. You're not wrong. That's something a lot of people forget, is that the story was pretty captivating. It was pretty interesting. Specifically, the first 2 seasons were very interesting. Were really, really good. So hopefully they don't get away from that. They really dropped the ball when it came to the street level characters on Disney Plus. I mean, you take a look at how terrible the Hawkeye show was. Take a look how bad Echo was. She-Hulk was terrible. You know, they haven't been able to do these street level shows any justice to this point. Hopefully they get it right with Daredevil. Hopefully. Jalen says, I'm conflicted about trusting this guy's words 100%, but the trailers did show it, though. You're right, it did. Otito, well, yeah, I see Daredevil breaking bones. Frank is unstable as ever with Hammer. Kingpin breaking bones. Muse becoming bloody Da Vinci. When I look left and see Disney, then I look left and see Disney Plus. Yeah, but don't forget, Disney Plus does have R-rated stuff all over it now, so they're not afraid to put that kind of thing on Disney Plus. Don't forget that. Hope for Life. If the rumors being told are true, supposedly Brave New World is going to make $4 billion. What? Get out of here. All right. Moving on to DC. This coming from DC Film News over on X. Lanterns is reportedly to begin production this week. That's exciting. So we know Supergirl's in production right now. Supergirl's in production. Superman is in post-production. Peacemaker is in post-production, probably almost done. Apparently, John Cena posted on Instagram a little Eagly is Eagly or Eagle or something like that picture with Eagly on it. And that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. We're seeing all the pieces falling together for the DCU. It's very, very exciting. Terrence Hutchins stops and yo, what's up, everybody? How's everything going? How's it going, man? And look, once this Lantern series gets into production, it's only a matter of time until we start to hear additional information. Sure, we have some casting news. It's only a matter of time until we get more cast, until we get set photos, until we start seeing things. Only a matter of time. It's exciting, guys. Look, as there's so many people out there that want to say, if Superman fails, the DCU is dead. We know Superman's not going to fail because it's not. But when Superman comes out and Superman goes, we then got Supergirl, we got Lanterns, we got Peacemaker. Like, we have a whole plethora of other DC stuff coming out. So, I mean, we're going to constantly, like, we're going to have things to still be excited about and look forward to. It's exciting times. It truly is. I keep telling everybody, it's constantly exciting times. People just don't, I don't know if they can't grasp the excitement or they don't want to understand the excitement. I don't know what it is. I don't get it, but that's all. That's all the Lanterns talk for now. We'll get a little more Lantern talk in a little bit here. But as promised, I did have another ad for you guys, as promised. Real quick, Manifest Time says, do you think we might see different suits with Lanterns? I have faith in Damon Lindelof and Mundy to not disappoint us. Ozark was fun, but I love The Leftovers. I think we will see suits, and I think it'll be very different than what we see with Guy Gardner. I do. Anyways, so I do believe you guys want to see the new ad. Enjoy. It's a little more than a minute, a little under 2 minutes, I should say. Enjoy the new ad. Do you find yourself overwhelmed by every mention of director James Gunn? Do you break out in an uncontrollable series of sighs, grumbles, or even spontaneous social media rants at the mere thought of his films? Well, you might be experiencing GDS, also known as Gunn Derangement Syndrome. GDS is a condition that affects discerning movie fans who just can't seem to get past director James Gunn's unique style. Symptoms may include persistent eye-rolling during trailers, a sudden onset of grumbling at movie announcements, and a compulsion to dodge any film that might bear his signature mark. To help relieve this, a breakthrough solution has been designed especially for those suffering from an excess of cinematic discontent. Introducing GDS Relief. GDS Relief works by gently recalibrating your movie preferences and help you regain balance in your film watching experience. GDS Relief isn't for everyone though. If you enjoy the cosmic quirkiness and intergalactic adventures that James Gunn brings to the screen, then GDS Relief might not be right for you. Some patients have experienced side effects, such as sudden binge watching of timeless films, uncontrollable fits of laughter at non-Gunn related jokes, and inexplicable newfound passion for art house cinema. If you experience any severe side effects, like accidentally admiring a U-Bull film, stop use immediately and consult your therapist. Don't let GDS hijack your movie nights. Ask your doctor today if GDS relief is right for you. Because sometimes it's perfectly okay to have a strong opinion without needing a prescription. GDS Relief is a fictional product intended for parody purposes only. Always consult your real doctor about any genuine health concerns. GDS Relief. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I'm having some fun with these little parody ads. I just wanted to try and get everybody to laugh a little bit. Lighten up and laugh a little bit, right? You gotta laugh a little bit. So if you know anybody that has a little GDS, maybe show them that ad. It will be live on the YouTube here any second now, guys. It'll be live. You can show it to everybody so they can, from private to public right now. Like I said, it was all the members got to see it first, and it is now live. It is public on the YouTube. So you can show it to anybody you want if you know anybody that has GDS. Again, it's all in good fun. All right, it's all in good fun. I do have another one that is actually it's more of a knock on Marvel, so that'll be fun. So yeah, that one, I'm hoping it'll be ready by Thursday, and I'll have that one up Thursday. I don't have any other ideas for any more right now. I'm thinking. I have ideas. But my ideas are starting to get a little wild. So we'll see where it goes. Anyways, Man OS Time says, always killing me with parody ads, Slav. Thanks for making us laugh. That's all I'm trying to do. Make you guys laugh a little bit. Okay. So the Puppy Bowl disappointment. Was there a big disappointment at the Puppy Bowl? And is there an issue with the marketing? Okay, the marketing. So we were talking for weeks leading up to Super Bowl weekend that Superman was going to have a special look during the Puppy Bowl. And, I sit here and I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get more. I'm not going to lie. I am disappointed. Now, people freaking out about things like this that James Gunn did, this little run that they had. Now, he posted part of this, I think, a couple days before the Super Bowl. And then there was a longer version of this that played during the Puppy Bowl. And people were upset about it. And I was like, why are people mad about this? Like, what is the reason to be mad about this? Now, obviously, you have certain people freaking out saying, it's all about James Gunn. It's all about him. It's never about it's never about Superman. It's always about James Gunn. Well, to be fair, and I hate to put it in this context, is not the Snyder Cut named after the director, Zack Snyder's Justice League? Let's just say that first off, okay? Anyway, getting back to the point here. This was for a good cause. This right here was for a good cause. And the reason why I'm sharing this particular post, it's from The Real Shift. And just as I always call out the lies, the misinformation, I don't want to be a fool. I don't want to be made a fool. I will also point out when these people, I've done it to Aaron, I've done it for everybody, when they actually make a good point and when they are actually showing their positivity. And Real Shift, who I've called out in the past for lies and misinformation, makes a good point. He literally says, am I missing something? Why do people have an issue with this? It's for a good cause. There's plenty to criticize about this movie, which is not true. But he says there's plenty to criticize about this movie and how it's being promoted. But this isn't one of those things. And he's right. There's no reason to criticize this little ad, and people were criticizing it. Now, there were other things that popped up during the Puppy Bowl. We got a cute little poster of crypto. Like I said, it was going to be crypto-centric, which it was. I mean, that was predicted. I think everybody kind of knew that was going to be the case. We've got a cute little poster, which you can go buy now. at the DC shop. Cute little poster. And people were upset about it because they're like, "Oh, this looks like a Hallmark card." Get out of here. It's a little poster. And then you have this that posted as well. And people were upset about this. Now, I said this is great. Am I sitting here saying, and I said, it's not what we wanted, it's not what we were expecting, but it's great. It's a little bit of a little comedy with Nathan Fillion. Why? Because Nathan Fillion. We all know. First off, if you see Nathan Fillion cast in a movie, you know he's going to be in a comedic role. Number one. Number two, if he's cast in a James Gunn movie, you should damn well know he's going to have some sort of comedic role. So the fact that they play that he's in a little promotional piece right here that is supposed to be comedic makes sense 100%. Now, I have a weird suspicion though, a very weird suspicion about this little clip. I have a weird suspicion that this was thrown together last minute. I do. I think that James Gunn and DC Studios underestimated what people were expecting during the Puppy Bowl. Now, I think there's one of two things that happened. Either they expected to put more out and they just didn't have it ready, which I doubt is the case, or, which I think is the case, they intended to do the posters, the merch, and this little bit. But fans were upset that they didn't get more. And I feel that this with Guy Gardner, this little thing with him checking his hair and standing there, was all done already. And the background was added and the text was added that day, yesterday, and thrown up. I that's just my theory. That is just my theory. Only because it is not the best. Like I said, I think it's great. I think it's hilarious because it's Nathan Fillion. I think Nathan Fillion's hilarious. I think the way that he's looking, touching his hair, looking all weird and stuff like. Again, it's Nathan Fillion. I think he's hilarious. It's great, but it's not what we wanted. So for me, when I take a look at this, I sit here and say, well, yeah, I don't think this was the right move for yesterday. This stuff was great. I think this is fantastic. I think this is perfect. I would have liked to have seen more. They should have done some behind the scenes or something with crypto. I don't think they needed to show anything from the movie. I talked about this before. I said my expectations were either some kind of like behind the scenes on how they brought crypto to life or even a short like 15, 20-second scene. Either one I think would have been fine. And a behind the scenes probably would have been the best way to go at this point. But they didn't go either way. And that's what's kind of disappointing to me because I think they should have gone one of those two ways. I do. But I'm not disappointed because, look, I turned on the Puppy Bowl here and I skimmed through it real quick and I didn't see anything because I put it on max and skimmed through it. And then I just rewinded it and turned it on and my daughter's watched it. Like I have a little 4-year-old who loves animals and she watched it. I showed her the picture of crypto. She thought he was cute. She goes, "Oh, that's cute." She thinks he's cute and adorable. That's the idea behind this. And there's people out there who are missing that. That's the thing. There are people that are missing that. This, on the other hand, was not made for the kids. This was made for the adults. This was put out there for the adults. And like I said, while I sit here and say, hey, this is great, it's funny, not what I wanted, not what we were expecting, but I think it's funny. It kind of seems like it was haphazardly and just thrown together to just get put out there. Is that accurate? That's my theory. That's my theory. It is. It's my theory. Now, people are only now complaining about Guy Gardner. No, we've heard people complaining about Guy Gardner for months. But Real Anarchy, great guy. Go check out his show if you haven't. He goes, I will never understand some of y'all. Have you looked at the comics on how ridiculous he looks? Because people are complaining about the way he looks. Well, it's comic accurate to a point. Obviously, the getup isn't the same, but I think the getup, we're going to learn why he's dressed like he is in the movie. That's fine. But again, the thing is, I think it was a missed opportunity. 100%. Super Bowl Sunday, they should have done more. Am I okay with what they did at the Puppy Bowl? Yeah. I wish they would have. I wish they would have done more at the Puppy Bowl, only because it seemed like they were going to do more. I also think it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. It was. Am I mad about it? Do I think it messes up their whole marketing? Do I think that they're cooked? Do I think that Superman's going to fail? No. Because let's not forget that they have a teaser trailer that is the fourth highest all time in 24 hours. That's in the ranks of Avengers, Endgame, Infinity whatever, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, it's huge. You have a TV spot that did fantastic and got people talking. You have multiple posters. Now you have this Guy Gardner thing. You have a whole bunch of merch out there. You have how many photos online, not the leaked photos, but official photos. There is more marketing out there already for Superman than there is for Fantastic Four. There's more out there than for Thunderbolts. There's more out there than for Jurassic World. There's more out there than Mission Impossible. There's more out there than for Lilo and Stitch. There is more out there for Superman than all these other big movies this summer. But people ignore that. Real Anarchy says, it's so over. So true, man. So true. But again, people ignore that. Again, am I disappointed we didn't get more? Yes. But does this mean that the marketing has been terrible? No, not at all. And we're going to get more marketing. As I tell everybody all the time, a teaser trailer is to spark interest. It's supposed to let people know that something is coming. It's not supposed to give everything away. I saw somebody post on X today that, the teaser or the trailer for Fantastic Four and Jurassic World did so much more than what Superman did. Well, they weren't your typical teaser trailers because they went in depth. Fantastic Four was more of a teaser trailer. Jurassic World was more of a trailer than a teaser trailer. But Superman was more so a traditional teaser than the other two were. There was nothing spoken. It was just images showing you what things look like, how the world looks, the aesthetic, the feel, the tone, everything about it. That's what a teaser trailer does. And people forget that. People lose their minds when it's not the way they want it to be. And that to me is just absurd. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, the marketing is on pace. They're way ahead of schedule than what most companies do for marketing. And they're saying that, they're dropping the ball. They're doing terribly. They're cooked. They're done. It's over. Come on, guys. Get out of here with that crap. It's fine. And then they, I don't know. Like, we're fine. Anybody who says otherwise, then they're sitting there saying, promote a Superman movie without Superman with Green Lantern. Well, yeah, Green Lantern's going to be in it. So why not? Why not? Promote the other characters in it. Why not? Whatever. Ridiculous. Anyway, what do you guys have to say? Let me know in the comments. What are you guys saying over here? The Watcher says, Guy looks so good. Oh, boy. Wow. Randy says, many in the general audience think that Gardner clip means Superman will be a superhero parody. That is not good. Where did you see that? I'd love to see those comments because I've never seen that. Jalen says, also after the last TV spot getting pushback maybe affected them posting a real sneak peek. Maybe. I don't know. I honestly think that my real belief is that they didn't intend to show anything And then they realized that the fans were like, "Oh crap," or they realized the fans wanted more, and they were like, "Oh crap, they thought this. Let's throw up this Guy Gardner thing." I do. I really think that's what it was. I think that's what happened. ManOS Time says, "Wasn't there a rumor about a Superman trailer being crypto focused before the teaser came out? Wished it was true so we could have had that." No, I don't remember that. The only thing crypto centric that I remember hearing anything about was the Poppy Bowl, and I don't know where everything came from that there was going to be a sneak peek at the Puppy Bowl. I don't know where that came from. Did James Gunn say that? If James Gunn said it, then there's an issue. Jalen says, "So it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing." I mean, that's pretty much how it is with DC right now. Randy says, "Fans are on edge because of the negative screening." What negative screening? What negative screening? The fans are not on edge from a negative screening. First of all, general audience has no idea about anything like that. Fans are not on edge from that because, first off, most fans don't even know about any kind of quote unquote screening. Secondly, these screenings that take place that James Gunn does, James Gunn has talked about this. When he does screenings, he does them with close personal friends. And yes, he does screenings all the time. And when you're 6, 7, 8 months out, no movie is going to look good 6, 7, 8 months out. That's why they do screenings 6, 7, 8 months out, to get a feel for what can be taken out, what needs to change, and things like that. So those screenings that happen 6, 7, 8 months out are pointless to say the movie looks good or bad. You never take those for what they are. So if there was truly a screening, why listen to them? How negative, no one knows, but it wasn't good. Campy and Robert Meyer Burnett talked about it. Yes, Campy and Robert Meyer Burnett talked about it. I actually heard that conversation they had about it, and they said exactly what I just said here. Exactly what I said. They did. Because when you sit there and see a movie 7, 8 months before it comes out, it's not going to look good. It's not going to even be near the finished product. They're just looking for things that they can clean up, things that they can pull out, things that they need to add in, things that they can adjust, change around. So things don't flow well. That's the point of looking at things. And they're going to do many other screenings. You don't understand. Like when you're making a movie, you watch a movie dozens and dozens and dozens of times. You pull people in to watch a movie with you a few times, many times, to get a feel, and you pull people in you trust to give opinions on it that you know you can trust. That's why you do it. So you can fix things and get things ready. That's all. Manos Time says, "Every time I go to the theater, there's a Superman poster and trailer keeps playing in front of the movie. Just because there's not new stuff online doesn't mean it's ruined." Very true. And look, here's the thing. The more you talk about it, the more we all talk about it, the more it's getting out there. The more people are going to know about it. And that's what's exciting. That's what's exciting. Trayvon says, THR said they're keeping their reviews of Superman test screenings in their personal fortress of solitude. Nowhere did they say they were negative test screenings. All right. Jalen says, "I think Fantastic Four and Superman has traditional teaser trailers." Fantastic Four was closer to a traditional teaser. It gave a little more away than you typically see in a teaser trailer. But yeah, I mean, that was closer to a traditional teaser for sure. For sure. Trayvon says, "If there were negative test screenings, I promise you THR would have reported it." Very true. Jalen says, "Superman marketing isn't perfect, but it's far from being terrible like Cap 4, which basically spoils the whole movie and the ending, and it's insane how bad the clips so far is example of bad marketing." And that's the thing. Is Superman marketing perfect? No. No marketing is ever perfect. I don't think I've ever seen a perfect marketing for any movie. And here's the thing. Like I said, I'm explaining this here. The Guy Gardner thing, I think it's funny. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious, but I think it wasn't the right move to put out. I think they could have done more at the Puppy Bowl, but I sit here and say, like, I love the icon clip, the TV spot. I love the teaser trailer. I criticized the first look at the Superman suit. I don't think it looked great. It looked AI generated. So I admit that things haven't been perfect, but none of it has been like, oh, this movie is crap. That's just how it is. Let's see. What else do we got here? Real Anarchy. The marketing has to wait. The real promotion kicks off roughly 8 weeks before the film's release date. If they start showing trailers too early, the movie could feel old by the time it premieres. You're not wrong. You're exactly right. And that's something that a lot of people forget is, and I say that I've said this before. Marvel years ago started this trend of releasing trailers like 6 months in advance. That's really where they started this trend. And when they started it, it really put a wrench in a lot of things because theaters then, or not theater studios, then felt they had to adapt and catch up and do what they were doing. Um, Here's the thing, when they did their teaser in December, that was really early. I mean, that's 6 months before the movie comes out. And I figured, like, I thought maybe we might get a trailer, a different trailer at the Super Bowl. I thought that just because of the stage that it would be. And then I thought we're not going to, definitely not get anything until April or May at that point, late April or May. But we didn't. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I think the next time we really see anything is probably going to be at this point, either CinemaCon or Superman Day, which I think CinemaCon is April 1st, or is it the end of March? I can't remember. And Superman Day's April 18th. So it's going to be one of those 2 days that we get the next thing, I think. Maybe some tidbits here and there between now and then. But the next trailer, I don't think is going to be until then. I think that's how it's going to work. And then you'll get one more trailer after that. That's my opinion at this point. A lot of stuff here. You guys are talking about BVS and Man of Steel. Man, what are you guys going on here? Okay. One more thing I want to show. I thought this was great. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that a toy leak came out. I'm not going to show the toy. I don't know if you guys care about toys or not. But I thought it was great because there is a picture of Superman on the toy in this pose down here in the left corner. And DC Comics fanboy shared this. I don't know where he got it. I don't know if he made it or where he got it. I think it's a great little picture. It's a Superman thing. And it shows all these different Supermans in this pose where they're flying or, jumping with their fists out. I think it's great. And all of these Supermans look great. They all look great. You got Tyler Hoechlin, you got Brandon Routh, you got Henry Cavill, you got Christopher Reeve, you got David Cornsweet, and then you've got the comic Superman, which I don't know which artist did that one, but it's great. Again, they're all Superman. They all look great, and it's all to be celebrated. That's all I want to say on that regard. In that regard, speaking of Superman, I do have a shirt I'm wearing here. It's hard to tell because my green screen is kind of, for some reason, taking up the yellow that's in the background. It's hard to see. Slav's Free Talk and the crest of Superman in a way. This is a shirt that I'm going to make. I'm going to put it up for sale. I don't know how much yet. It's going to be a limited edition shirt. I don't know if any of you guys are going to be interested in it. I'm also going to have some stickers. And I'm going to put it up for sale. And if you guys are interested, it's probably going to be on my website. I got to figure out how to put things up for sale on my website. I'm going to put it up. I'll make them here for myself, and then I'll send them out to whoever orders them. Again, it's going to be a limited run because this is not my logo, but this is going to be a temporary logo, just in excitement and excitement and anticipation for Superman movie coming out. So if you guys like it, cool. You can pick one up. Again, I don't know how much I'm going to sell them for yet, but that's the plan once I get my shop up on my website. So keep a lookout for that. All right. Now, I don't know if Otito's still here. You still here, Otito? You still here? I don't know if you still are. I got a few minutes. I know you want me to talk about why I dislike Captain America Civil War. I know you want me to talk about it. So I'm going to give you some bullet points here. All right, I'll give you some bullet points, and then next week you can come back at me. All right, you can come back at me, and I can hopefully I have time, and I'll go even more in depth with it. So I'm going to I'll give you my bullet points, and then next week, you guys, anybody, Otito, anybody else can come back at me. I'll give you my bullet points here. So why I dislike Captain America Civil War. Number one, I think it has a very weak premise. I do. I think it has a very weak premise. Number two, with that weak premise, I think the plan of the villain is terrible. I think it is a very ridiculous and terrible plan by the villain. With that premise, there's no consequence. There's no real consequences for the heroes. When all is said and done, the consequences from that movie don't play out through the MCU after the fact. Now, this is more of a in hindsight when you look back type of thing, but the consequences of that movie don't play out at all. So it's kind of like, all right, what was the point of that movie then? Then with that, the character decisions for many of the characters don't fit who the characters are, which in turn ignores the continuity that was established prior to that movie. I also think that Spider-Man's addition hurt the film more than helped it. Now, granted, at the box office, it helped it, but I think it hurt the movie story-wise and in general. Now, it helped it at the box office, sure. But that's just some of the bullet points for you, okay? I want you to take that. I want you to ready your arguments to come back with me. I have all my notes right here. It's like a page and a half full of notes right here. And I can go more in depth with it. I have no problem. Otito says, overly convoluted. I don't care for Zemo, but people hype him as the best MCU villain, which is terrible. It's stupid. Vunder Guy, how's it going? The reason Captain America Civil War is sus is because Tony wants to kill a brainwashed innocent man. That's true as well. The Watcher says Zemo is nothing like Zemo from the comics at all. Wade Barron, Zemo is Avengers. He's a great villain in that. Vunder Guy says, but that's immoral and wrong and stupid. Replace Bucky with Rhodey or Pepper, and the flaw in the Tony's thinking becomes evident. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other reasons why I think, or not a whole bunch of other reasons, but I can go in depth, like, for instance, like the character decisions. Like, think about this one, Ant-Man. Ant-Man in his movies and everything like that, he's driven to be with his daughter. Everything he wants to do is to be with his daughter. Yet he goes and sides with Captain America, who's a fugitive and on the run, risking himself to go be put in prison and not be with his daughter. Like, that makes no sense. That goes against everything that he would stand for. Like, if I was Ant-Man, I'd be like, look, Cap, I'm cool with you, but my daughter's more important than your little squabble with Iron Man. Sorry. Like, come on now. Like that, to me, that's ridiculous. So, look, I don't have time to get into all of it. I do have to start wrapping this up, but next week I have no problem. Is it the Superman marketing stuff? For sure. Guys, this is a good episode. I enjoyed it. I want to know what you guys all think about Superman marketing. Make sure you let me know in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say. Make sure you guys check out the Discord. Come to the Discord. It's in the description, the link, or I can invite you now, maybe. How do I do that? Let's do this. Generate a link and Discord. There you go. Join the Discord, guys. It's in the chat now. Let's take a look real quick. Did you watch the Puppy Bowl for Superman sneak peek? 47% said yes, 53% said no. So, again, not many people actually watched the Puppy Bowl for it. So, it's not too bad. I'm impressed. I mean, a lot of people were acting like they were watching it for the Puppy Bowl, and they watched the Puppy Bowl for Superman. They really didn't. They kind of knew. It's awesome. Look, guys, it was a great show. I loved it. It was fun. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me on Mondays. I will be back Thursday with the Watchtower, where it's all DC talk. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the community. Let me know in the Discord what you guys want to talk about on Thursday. All right, guys? But with all that said, I'll check you all out later. See ya.